So, why did Courtney go back to her life as a stripper? Was MasterChef responsible for what happened to Josh Marx? Why didn't Luca open his own restaurant? Today, we'll be revealing what the MasterChef winners and runner-ups are up to, and what better than to start with the inaugural winner of MasterChef, Whitney Miller. So, Whitney has continued to carve a distinguished path in the culinary world since her victory. As a versatile chef, cookbook author, recipe and menu developer, food stylist, and food judge, Whitney's influence has extended far beyond her southern roots. Her southern cuisine has been showcased globally, with appearances in countries like China, Dubai, Malaysia, and South Africa. Whitney's culinary expertise is also reflected in her contributions to various companies and magazines, where she develops blog posts and recipes. Her collaborations include work with brands such as Big Green Egg, Tervis, Penobscot Macomb Potato Company, Sous Vide Supreme, Southern Living, Clean Eating, Self, and Flavors. She has made television appearances on Good Morning America and Fab Life alongside Chrissy Teigen, and regularly hosts satellite media tours for food and cookware companies. As a food stylist, she has crafted dishes for well-known brands, including Hampton Inn by Hilton. Whitney's accolades include being the first Southern chef to be featured at Chef Dance during the Sundance Film Festival. She has also had the privilege of cooking for high-profile celebrities such as Fixer Uppers Chip and Joanna Gaines, Duck Dynasty's Jace and Missy Robertson, Tim Tebow, and Chris Tomlin. Whitney was recognized as one of TJ Maxx's hero women. She has served as the national spokesperson for the Vidalia Onion Committee and Envy Apple, and has been featured as a chef for Cooking Panda's Cooking Panda Academy. Her diverse roles also include being a celebrity fashion show panelist for Neiman Marcus Cusp, a guest co-host for Daytime Talk Show, and a food stylist for various projects, including Food Network's Big Food Show Tip. Additionally, Whitney owns her own business, Whitney's Cookies. As an author, Whitney has published 2 cookbooks, Modern Hospitality, Simple Recipes with Southern Charm, which features a foreword by Gordon Ramsay, and Whitney Miller's New Southern Table. Currently residing in Nashville, Tennessee, with her husband Ryan and their adorable children, Miller, Whitney continues to develop restaurant menus, recipes, and conducts cooking demonstrations and classes. She is also available for booking as a food stylist for photo shoots and food shows. Just like she wrote in one of her posts, she enjoys not just making good food, but making food look good. According to her website, she can tailor her appearances to meet specific needs, whether it be judging or emceeing awards events and benefits. David Miller was the runner of the season. In an interview to reality TV Wanted in 2010, David revealed his immediate future plan. He said, and I quote, "Honestly, my focus right now is my wedding, which is in Vegas in less than 3 weeks. Although I've been approached by folks wondering if I'd write a cookbook, do cooking classes, open a restaurant, or like to have my own TV show. I would hate to waste such an opportunity, so I will definitely be pursuing something. My dream is to host the show I've always wanted, showing college students how to drop their expensive meal plans and cook better food in their dorm rooms with little more than a toaster oven and a hot plate. That's really how I started cooking, and I'd love to pass that on. Who knows, maybe be the inspiration behind the next American Master Chef. Don't know what derailed his cooking show plan because that would have been amazing for college students like me. But after his time in the spotlight, he chose a more low-key path, getting married in Las Vegas and welcoming a son into his life. He returned to his previous career in software. Interestingly, he was banned from r/Mech Market, a popular mechanical keyboard community on Reddit, due to allegations of scamming users. Can anyone here back up how true these allegations are? Anyway, on Twitter, he endorses Rock for President as a joke, of course. Or is it? David keeps active on Twitter, where he often engages with conservatives and doesn't shy away from bashing their views, including those of former President Trump, who he believes is the country's sorest loser. His words, not mine. His outspoken nature reveals a keen political awareness that he frequently shares online. However, there are no food-related updates in recent years, so it's anyone's guess if he's still whipping up dishes behind the scenes. Maybe he's just keeping that passion alive in his own kitchen, away from the spotlight. Now, moving on to Season 2. Former Miss Delaware Jennifer Beam has remained driven and ambitious since her MasterChef win in 2011. She channeled her culinary success into launching Pink Martini Catering, a Wilmington-based catering company she co-founded with her husband, Julio Lazzarini, a former Chopped contestant. Beyond catering, Beham has taken on various food-related ventures, including serving as a judge in cooking competitions, giving motivational speeches, organizing cooking demonstrations, and representing the cooking appliance company Sous Vide as a spokesperson. In 2015, Jennifer Beham expanded her culinary ventures by opening her own restaurant, Redfin Crudo Plus Kitchen, in Rhode Island. Unfortunately, like many businesses, the restaurant closed earlier this year due to the challenges brought on by the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Despite the setback, Bam and her husband have adapted, offering in-home meal services instead. In 2021, she appeared on Beat Bobby Flay and faced off against Ramsay's frenemy, Flay, on the Half-4 program after winning a first-round battle against her husband. And she won against Uncle Bobby. Her soup, swimming with adobo chicken and nutty pan-fried fideo noodles, was a combination of one that her mother used to make. It also incorporated many Latin-influenced ingredients, a nod to her husband Julio's Puerto Rican heritage. Flay himself was impressed with the dish that she made in 45 minutes. You can tune in to her weekly podcast called Pick Me Up Thursday for her motivational insights and catch regular food-related updates on her Instagram. She posted saying that her passion for cooking and public speaking are colliding and that she couldn't be happier. She wrote, "I am picking up events for the 2024 year. From culinary events to private cooking events, motivational speaking, and my latest passion project, team building experiences utilizing food. If you know anyone who may be interested in any of these, please reach out." For inquiries about her services, feel free to reach out via Insta DM. She was last seen catering a dinner party on the water for the Philadelphia rugby team. Now, moving on to Season 2's runner-up.
What's the goal? I want to land the white whale. I want to land that one client.
After his appearance, Adrian Nieto attended a number of cookery events, demonstrations, and appearances at local restaurants and pop-up kitchens. As a private chef, he has been to major US cities.
It's funny, I've never been to this city, so a goal of mine is to go to every major city in every state.
But there's one state he won't cook in.
I don't like Florida. I don't like the idea of Miami. I haven't even been.
Sorry, Floridians. But it is what it is. Anyway, turns out the dude was a chef at Frank Underground, owned by Jenny Kelly and Ben Starr. By the way, he's now spending time with his godson and best friend Cleo, who he rescued from the streets in July 2018 after a hurricane in Houston. Lovely, isn't it? Oh, and he's head chef at Aranda's Healdsburg, a Mexican restaurant in California, inside Hotel Les Mars. Some of the specials he served recently look absolutely mouth-watering. I mean, look at these plates of surf and turf plum aguachile, smoked eel salad tostada, and burrata summer salad. If you're in California and craving authentic Mexican cuisine, be sure to check out Adrian's creations. Alright, now let's head straight to Season 3. After her MasterChef win, Christine Ha accomplished quite a bit. She authored a popular cookbook titled Recipes from My Home Kitchen, featuring Gordon Ramsay's foreword. Christine also took on the role of judge for the Vietnam edition of the show and worked as a private chef for numerous clients. She expanded her influence with a stint on the TV show Four Senses, a cooking series designed for those with visual disabilities. Adding to her achievements, Christine opened a gastropub called The Blind Goat in Houston, serving up a unique culinary experience. What's more, in 2019, she spoke at the United Nations about disability and inclusion. And did you know she's a James Beard semi-finalist for Best New Restaurant in 2020? Yeah, she was also named a finalist for Best Chef in Texas in 2022. She completed the Beard Foundation's Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership Program in 2023. She recently did a demo at the National Restaurant Show, the world's biggest food and beverage convention. She cooked bo nay, a Vietnamese steak and egg dish often eaten for breakfast or lunch in Vietnam, and one of the most popular brunch dishes at The Blind Goat. Christine also creates reaction videos of her MasterChef season on YouTube and Twitch. Her most recent reaction video covers the semifinals and finals of Season 3. In a heartfelt gesture, she donated all proceeds from her Twitch channel to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, matching the donations 100% in memory of her friend and co-finalist, Josh Marx. She was included in this year's lineup of Lasting Legacies, celebrating the 25th anniversary of the White House event for Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month for a thought-provoking conversation about what it means to be an AA and HPI individual in the entertainment and media industry. She returned as a guest judge in the latest season of MasterChef in the 4th episode. On her Instagram, she often shares how she deals with hate mail from people who claim she shouldn't have won because she had help. She says she just laughs it off and doesn't let it get to her. She also uses her platform to share her experiences living with neuromyelitis optical spectrum disorder. Opening up about her journey provides hope and inspiration to others facing similar challenges. Now, let's speak of the runner-up of Season 3. The tragic events following Josh Marx's time on MasterChef sparked significant revelations about the treatment of contestants on the show. His struggles highlighted how the intense pressure and psychological strain of the competition can drive some individuals to the brink, with many alleging that the show's environment contributes to severe mental health issues, including suicidal thoughts. This has prompted a broader discussion about the responsibility of reality TV shows in supporting the well-being of their participants and addressing the mental health challenges they face. When the show aired, Marx reveled in his newfound fame. He hosted viewing parties with his college buddies and kept his Facebook followers updated about the upcoming episodes. But as September neared and the finale approached, a change took hold. Always composed and unflappable, he began grappling with panic attacks. But all through his episodes, he held onto his faith. The first of these episodes struck when Marx and his mother were in New York for a finale viewing event. While at a street festival with Ryan Umain, his friend from the show, several people recognized him and gathered around. Overwhelmed by the sudden attention, Marx felt a surge of claustrophobia and immediately called his mother, who was out with a friend at the time. When she reached Umana's apartment, her son was starting to regain his composure. Both Marx and his mother brushed off the incident initially. However, over the subsequent months, such occurrences became more frequent and concerning. Eventually, they escalated to something far more troubling. Moments when Marx appeared to lose touch with reality. And he even started to drop some meaningful hints. The change in Marx didn't go unnoticed by his friends in Mississippi. Derek Calvert, Marx's former roommate, vividly recalls a late-night conversation where Marx exclaimed, "That woman is Satan." Calvert was taken aback, not only because he had no clue who Marx was referring to, but also because he had never heard him speak in such a disturbing manner before. Surprising both his Mississippi friends and family back in Chicago, Marx abruptly announced his resignation from his job and his decision to return to Chicago to pursue a career in cooking. While the desire for a career change wasn't entirely unexpected, the impulsiveness of his actions was out of character. But there was more. Marx revealed that he had met someone and fallen deeply in love, leading to a quick engagement after only a few weeks of dating. Mitchell, his mother, was startled by the suddenness of it all. However, within a short span, Marx ended the relationship. Upon his return to Chicago, any hope that his erratic behavior was a passing phase vanished. In January 2013, while attending a culinary event in Washington, DC Marx phoned his mother to express his belief that he was fighting evil spirits. The situation took a turn for the worse the following day. After returning to Chicago, Marx was involved in a severe car crash involving multiple vehicles. His mother recounted, "The car was completely wrecked, the front end was crushed, and the dashboard split in two." According to the police report, Marx was exhibiting aggressive behavior, yelling and attacking paramedics. He was also unable to respond to questions in a coherent manner. But that was just the beginning of his distressing behavior. His conduct warranted him being restrained to his bed and placed on a 72-hour psychiatric hold. That evening, as recalled by his mother, was a struggle. Among other things, apparently, he claimed that Gordon Ramsay was deceased. But things were about to get even more twisted. Later that night, Mitchell engaged with a hospital social worker regarding Marx's options, considering his lack of medical insurance. After several calls, the social worker arranged a brief stay at Rush University Medical Center. However, without insurance, Marx's time there would be limited, leaving him essentially on his own. Clearly, the man was a wreck. Finally, Josh was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and experienced episodes of psychosis. That same week, Marx was discharged with a prescription, along with instructions for his family to closely monitor him. Mitchell recognized her son's urgent need for extended care, yet she faced obstacles at every turn. Eventually, Marx's mother managed to secure a temporary hospital bed for him through persistence. However, each time he was discharged, he left with a new set of prescriptions. Now, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please share this video with them and know that you can contact the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741741, call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-6264, or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website. Who knows, it might just help someone and prevent them from falling into the same pit as Marx did. Because what happened next was the fateful night of July 28, 2013. Earlier that day, his sister heard Marx mentioning people, advising him not to live. Marx was expected to stay with his mom that night, but as the hours passed and he failed to respond to Mitchell's calls, concern grew. Later, Mitchell discovered that Marx had parked his car in Hyde Park and wandered aimlessly for hours. At some juncture in what the family believes was either a suicide attempt or an effort to silence the torment in his mind, Marx shot himself in the ear while seated in his car. Around 4 a.m., he utilized an emergency phone at the University of Chicago. Upon the arrival of a campus officer, Marx exhibited facial cuts caused by bullet fragments. When questioned, Marx attacked the officer, attempting to seize his firearm. And what followed next was nothing short of a heated crime scene. A second officer had to intervene, using a baton and pepper spray. Marx broke free briefly, but was eventually subdued by 3 other officers in a nearby backyard. Throughout the ordeal, he rambled incoherently, at one point claiming that Gordon Ramsay had possessed him and transformed him into a god. Yes, imagine listening to something as crazy as this. Marx was taken to the campus hospital and subsequently Mount Sinai for treatment after sustaining a hematoma and a broken jaw, necessitating surgery. What's more, he also faced serious charges of aggravated assault against a police officer, a felony. The judge set his bail at $150,000, demanding $15,000 for his release. With his jaw wired shut, Marx spent time in the general population at Cook County Jail until his mother managed to gather the necessary funds. Adding to the mounting challenges, she had to retain a lawyer and a psychiatric expert to illuminate the impact of Marx's bipolar disorder on the incident. Following his release from jail, his mother sought treatment where Marx was subjected to heavy medication. However, upon leaving the hospital, Marx received an unexpected blow. His discharge papers cited an additional diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia, and obviously, the news shattered him. Understanding her son's distress, Mitchell took him to live at her father's residence on the city's far south side, where he could receive constant supervision and care. On the morning of October 11, 2013, Marx rose early, sending a concerning text while his family slept peacefully. Soon, the family received a call from Marx's uncle relaying a distressing sighting of Marx with a firearm somewhere in the neighborhood. Filled with dread, Mitchell hurried to her dad's house, racing through Englewood, hoping for a different outcome. Desperate for a sign of relief, she scanned the alleys, hoping to find her son safe. With a heavy heart, she eventually discovered him lying motionless, the weapon by his side, a small wound in his head, but remarkably little blood. The painful truth sank in. Her worst fears had become a devastating reality. A decade has passed, and there's still a lot to do in terms of mental health awareness and advocacy. My heart goes out to his friends and family. He was a remarkable, inspiring man, and he will be missed. I hope we can collectively do more to help people with mental health issues. Journalist Jessie Glenn did an expose on MasterChef, where she claimed that the psychological abuse they put contestants through was too much. She met Josh's family, including his mother, who struggled to find adequate mental health support for him in Chicago. Josh was a kind and decent person, enthusiastic about his future and planning to open a restaurant on Martha's Vineyard. Rest in peace, my man. You are loved. Okay now, who's ready for season 4? Well, it sure ended on a high note as Luca Manfè was crowned the first non-American winner. He released his cookbook the year following his win, calling it My Italian Kitchen, Favorite Family Recipes from the winner of MasterChef Season 4 on Fox. In 2018, he was also recruited as a brand ambassador for pizza oven company Donna Italia to help promote its oven to the pizza industry. During his time on MasterChef, Luca launched his catering company, Dinner with Luca, after a family in New York reached out to him via social media. The website went live almost immediately, allowing Manfè to travel across the US and Canada, cooking for both small and large groups. On his website, he states, I have cooked for parties of 2 up to 250 people, so there is no limit to the number of people or the type of reception. Just ask. Post MasterChef, he also ventured into the food truck business with the Lucky Fig. However, the high-end Italian cuisine he served didn't quite fit the food truck concept, leading to the closure of the venture after about a year. During the pandemic, he focused on filming recipes for his website and offering online cooking classes. While he has no plans for a second cookbook, Manfè now lives in a tiny home in Texas with his wife Kate and their 2 sons, prioritizing his family above all else. In his own words, my name is Luca Manfè. I'm an Italian who left his home country in his 20s and came to the States to follow the American dream. At the time, I did not know what the dream was. I grew up in the restaurant business, working in Italy, Australia, Florida, and New York. I had the privilege and honor to work with great chefs, experiencing ingredients and techniques from different cuisines, from Japanese to French to modern American, and then, of course, Italian. Now, I can tell you that each person can be in charge to draw his own dream. Mine is keeping on changing, and honestly, I am not sure of what I want to be when I grew up. For now, I love to be a dad and a husband. Luca Manfè believes that since MasterChef contestants are home cooks rather than professional chefs, they shouldn't rush into opening restaurants immediately after the show, which is why he chose not to pursue that path. Listen to his own words.
It's not that I never wanted to open a restaurant. Actually, right after the show, I jumped into it because I was literally full of shit.
Luca also curates itineraries for Italy, showing you hidden parts of the country, visiting family-run businesses, small wineries, and restaurants where only the locals go. And of course, he's your chaperone for the entire length of the trip. If you want to go on a tour with him, he's releasing in the next few weeks itineraries for Sicily May 2025 and Venice plus Friuli for October 2025. He leads an adventurous life for sure. As for the runner-up of the same season, here's how her story played out. Natasha Krenjak was a stay-at-home mom from San Diego, California, and returned to her role as a stay-at-home mom after MasterChef with a brief foray into catering and private chef services. On Instagram, she describes herself as CFO, Chief Fun Officer. In 2019, she launched Meal Prep Boutique, providing catering services and meal prep delivery in California. Natasha also worked as a catering manager at Sodexo. After divorcing her husband, she moved with her children Mila and Diego to Bali, Indonesia in late 2020. In 2022, she relocated to Tempe, Arizona, where she is now a catering manager at Arizona State University. Announcing the career change, she wrote on Instagram, "I was lucky enough to get promoted to a higher position after only being there for a month because hard work and determination does indeed pay off." Now, anyone who even remotely follows the show has heard of Tali.
I'm gonna have to throw someone under the bus.
I mean, if you're looking for any video that's got to do with the worst dishes or worst chefs on MasterChef, finding Tali on that list is a no-brainer. Hell, it wouldn't surprise me if someone accidentally put him on a Hell's Kitchen list given how insane the guy was. You see, right from day one, the dude proved to the world that he wasn't much of a cook. The disappointment on Chef Ramsay's face spoke volumes. But wait till he finally walked up to the front.
Hey, chef. It's a sous vide Arctic char over green lentils.
Yeah, he tried to explain his dish further, but the more he went on, the more annoyed Joe got.
So it's not master orator or master tell me about what my intention is about cooking.
Oh, and he didn't stop there.
It's master chef. You think you're gonna impress us with things like sous vide, emulsify?
Joe is sharp, and he knew what Tali was trying to do. Using fancy words to cover up his flaws was something Tali did every freaking day, and Joe was sick of it. And his dish had only been on the podium for like 10 seconds, and you better believe Joe was sick of that too.
Overcooked. You have a bunch of herb scraps with no dressing on them. You got a piece of fatty, nasty looking bacon.
It was a disaster to say the least. And then came Chef Ramsay.
Not master bait.
I think we all do, really, but wait till you hear what he said next.
Flavor, Tali. It's badly seasoned. It's just a mess.
But that's not all. He went on with the criticism saying that there was no flavor and it was badly seasoned on top of it. As for Tali, there's no way he was gonna start being humble enough to believe them now of all times.
The beauty and the genius that is my food.
Oh man, that sucks.
Imagine being a grown man and not having the capacity to take criticism head on. Like, I get it, you're proud of your dish, but not wanting to admit your mistakes and instead blaming it on the others is just not it. Would it kill him to get over himself? I think we'll never know. Anyways, the 3 worst dishes of the challenge are announced, and at this point, it should be no surprise who made the list.
The wrong ingredients and the wrong flavors. That person is Tali.
And now for the moment we've all been waiting for.
The person leaving MasterChef is Tali. Your time is done.
Finally some good news. I honestly didn't know how he made it this far. Either the guy's extremely lucky or the show is rigged. Having survived this far on the show, it makes you wonder what he's doing right now, right? Turns out, Tali's put his culinary ambitions on the back burner, and thank God for that. For his sake though, I hope he's miles better at music than he is at cooking. But I'll let you be the judge of that. And not bad, I mean seriously. I think he just came to try his luck and somehow got on the show. Because this dude didn't have even half as much as the skill he's showing here in his cooking. Anyway, it looks like he finally realized where his heart belongs. As best as I can tell, he was or is the head of talent at Lucky Day. And that's not all. He was in the recruitment game for WAG Labs Inc., which is a tech startup. But the latest I've got on him is that he's currently over at Edify as a recruiter. He may not have secured the trophy home, but at least he got a best friend. Toxic of a pair though it may be. Anyway, moving on to Season 5. Many fans feel that Courtney's victory on *MasterChef* was a disappointment, perceiving her as favored by the producers, particularly after she survived the salty donuts incident. Despite her initial claims of using the show as a fresh start and leaving her past behind, she soon stepped away from cooking and returned to her previous career as a stripper and OnlyFans model. Guess what? She's not unaware of the criticism she receives. On Instagram, she candidly and very sarcastically, might I add, posted, "If I had $1 for every hate comment I received for winning, I'd have gotten a lot more than $250K. On her blog, she shared, "I understand that there are people who watch TV, might not realize the release date, and then choose to check in on where I'm at now. They are not just confused, but frustrated. I see how they may have emotionally invested in me and created a projection of a future in food for me only to have this fantasy bubble burst. They're not wrong for feeling these things, I get it. The problem lies in how they react to it. There is no requirement to pursue a career in food once appearing on the show. Many people also confuse the show I was on with the show that includes a contract to work in a restaurant. The only thing I was obligated to complete after filming was my cookbook and the cruise. My message in response to the question of is she a stripper or is she a chef is this: I am both. If that is uncomfortable for someone, well, then this isn't the place. And I am not the person for them. I was a stripper long before I got into food, and it's unfortunate that my accomplishments in food were so overshadowed by an audience's narrow worldview. I am celebrated as a stripper far more than I ever have been in my reality TV experience, and I choose to focus more on the spaces where I am loved and accepted rather than the spaces where I am constantly defending myself. I am going to be authentically me. It's your choice whether to stay or to leave. You gotta give it to her. She's unapologetic and confident, and honestly, good for her. Now, here's a fresh controversy. Very recently, she announced on her Instagram that MasterChef doxed her. She wrote, "You do know that I was outed and doxed on reality TV as a stripper, right?" Apparently, the producers told her, and I quote, "Courtney, what will you go home to if you don't win? You'll go back to being a stripper, won't you? The judges need to know that. You need to tell them that." She further wrote, "After years of therapy, I've since learned that that is a form of manipulation." I was not embarrassed to be a stripper. I was embarrassed to be pressured into announcing it on national television and afraid of how people would treat me because of it. Now, if MasterChef did indeed pressure Courtney to share her emotional backstory as a means of boosting viewer engagement, it was a troubling move. Such exploitation of personal narratives can feel manipulative and disrespectful, diminishing the authenticity of a contestant's journey. Courtney, however, owns her story and her choices. And what's important now is how we approach the controversy. Please refrain from slut-shaming her in the comments. Many strippers view their work as a legitimate form of artistry and performance, and our focus should be on advocating for safer working conditions and respect for all workers. Stripping, like any profession, involves complex dynamics, and discussions should center on improving safety and support within the industry rather than demeaning those who choose it as their livelihood. In a post, Courtney shared how it empowers her. She wrote, "I feel the most powerful on a stage. I feel like the truest version of myself on a stage. On a stage, no one can touch me. On a stage, I am the center of attention and I am in control. It is my favorite place in the entire world, and the place I always want to be remembered. I feel the most powerful on a stage. I feel like the truest version of myself on a stage. On a stage, no one can touch me. On a stage, I am the center of attention and I am in control. It is my favorite place in the entire world, and the place I always want to be remembered." After her appearance, she also did release a cookbook, Everyday Fancy, 65 Easy, Elegant Recipes for Meals, Snacks, Sweets, and Drinks. She wrote another book titled My Best Stripper Self, The Power of Patterns, Identifying and Utilizing What Works. A book for strippers, written by a stripper. Sharing her thoughts on success, she wrote, "The system has made it a moving goalpost, so we are always chasing more and never validating the moment. I don't want that. I enjoy being still and happy where I'm at, and when I do show up for myself, whether it's to earn or to compete or to achieve, I do, and in a way that doesn't come at a cost or sacrifice to my needs, boundaries, or sanity. The system is there to make you feel you have to move quickly. They put expected timeframes on achievements and life events. They're rushing us through our own lives, like cows to slaughter, so they can move slower through theirs. That's not for me. We don't do that here. My life, my choices, my speed." Alright, now let's talk about Elizabeth Covell, the runner-up. She does multi-course wine pairing dinners at a local wine shop. She has returned to her career as a freelance advertising creative director at MRY. She's also a writer, and you can access her articles on Medium. She writes on a wide range of subjects, from insider tips on getting cast on MasterChef to discussions on white nationalism. Yeah, the range is crazy. She wanted to come back for another season of MasterChef. In fact, she was in the middle of auditioning for season 12, where they brought back the fan favorites, but had to bow out because she found out she was pregnant with her son. She's enjoying family life with her husband, son, and their adorable cat. She has kept her passion for food alive, and her Instagram is filled with her creations. She especially seems to have a fondness for Middle Eastern and South Asian cuisines. If you want more interesting updates and a part 2 covering the rest of the winners and runners-up, don't forget to let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. And if you thought this video was crazy, then you have to check out the next one right here. It's even better.